Welcome to the Doctor and the Medium podcast. Join us at the intersection of brain science, body wisdom, and the mystical unknown. Hosted by myself, Liz, a doctor of health psychology, an energy healer and compassion coach, and Andy, a medium, coach, and intuitive healer. The podcast explores the receptive consciousness framework with zero pretense, a sprinkling of laughter, and a lot of heart.
We're looking at consciousness as something we receive rather than something we just generate. And more importantly, how that changes everything. From tackling chronic stress and paralyzing overwhelm to navigating the complex mind-body disease problem. We share practical, grounded techniques to help you shift your state, soothe your nervous system, and heal from the inside out. Let's talk about how mind, body, and spirit actually connect.
Welcome back, everybody. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Liz. Good day to you.
How are you?
Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. It's the sun is still shining. It's been the theme of the summer so far.
Yeah.
The sun has got its hat on. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I have felt the weight of things lately, which is very much what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about when we lose our center, lose our clarity in terms of interference.
Okay, so interference, are we taking a part-time job in radio repairs or TV repairs? What is this interference you speak of?
So when you're really focused on something.
Yeah, it happens occasionally, but
yeah, and you find that you can really focus on something, you can give all your attention to it, and it's going well, whether that is, working with the spirit world or your everyday job or a conversation with somebody. Now, if you think about when you lose your focus and you lose your clarity, what's generally starting to happen?
I've probably got distracted. There's probably thoughts going through my mind that aren't part of what I'm trying to do. I may not have kind of got into that right zone, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Zone, or the right mindset. I think, mindset. Like so you've come in from work and you've just had a bit of a dodgy day, and you're kind of glad that it's over. And then you're logging on to meet with the client, and you can't just always turn off the outside noise when you're trying to just hear what's happening inside. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. So that sort of interference. So why is one day a session with a client flowing beautifully, and then another day could be exactly the same client and it's not flowing beautifully?
Well, let's look at the things that stay constant, all right? I stay constant in the sense of it's Andy both days.
Yeah.
It's Andy's mind both days and brain, unless there's been some sort of like transplant in my sleep. I know what to do on both days. So the only variable really is the preparation. It is the distractions, if there are any in the moment. And it is my emotional state. And when I say emotional state, I guess I don't mean, I'm like, boo-hoo, I've got tears coming down my face. I mean, am I in a very Buddhist Zen-like, very state of, or peaceful state? Am I in that state? Am I in a, slightly, the world's going a bit mad. I'm really crazy. I'm just feeling really, I'm like this, and I'm trying to see it, and I'm trying to relax, and it's not happening. So I think the variable has to be the reason. And that for me is the preparation, but also my mindset in the moment. I think that's got to be true of most people, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just thinking one of the things that we could compare it to is physical pain as well.
Okay, in what way?
So it's the same experience. If you're having the experience of pain,
Yeah.
so two people,
Right.
they both experience the same pain condition. Okay, it's exactly the same physiologically.
Okay.
But why is one unable to function whereas the other can carry on daily life? Well, there's a model, a theory of pain where there's a pain pathway. And I mean, this is in the simplest terms because I'm not very good at describing this accurately. But in the simplest terms, what's happening is that pain signal is reaching this this point of decision within the spinal cord. It's at the top of the spinal cord, and it's often described as like a gating system. And so the pain signal is going to travel up the spinal cord and to the brain where we experience the sensation of pain.
Yeah.
Now it's moderated by what else is going on, because what else is going on is going to open or close that hypothetical gate that's there at the top of the spinal cord. So if you think about if you stub your toe and then you rub it quickly, the sensation of rubbing the sore area reaches the brain because it's a faster signal than the pain signal. So then it's closing the gate a bit to the pain. Whereas if you focus just on stubbing your toe, it becomes agonizing. It's like, that's how a lot of painkillers work. That's why if you're upbeat and you're full of endorphins and you're feeling good, generally the gate reduces and you feel closes and you feel less pain. So again, it's that idea of whatever else is going on in the system is going to interact in ways of how we then experience the stimuli or the information that's coming into our system.
Can I try and paraphrase it in one sentence?
Absolutely.
If your full attention is on the pain, you will feel the pain fully.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
There you go. Check me out paraphrasing.
Yeah. So if your full attention is on the client,
yeah,
you'll be tuned into the client fully.
Right. So if that client is Radio 2, it used to be Radio 1, but that music's just gone. I don't know. I don't understand what's happening. Right, so we've gone to Radio 2, all right? So I can understand it. It's got a bit of 90s, bit of indie going on there, and I can tune into that. So I'm with my client. I, in some metaphorical state, am interfering with the dial to get a clearer and clearer signal, which means I'm tuning out the extraneous noise. I'm tuning out the feeling of pain. I'm tuning out the hassle of the day. Yeah. And I'm just tuning in to the signal coming from that client. Absolutely. And that is it. That is the thing that is happening. This is why interference, this is the aha moment that I had, because we realized that and this is why when I spoke to you about it, and the whole reason really behind this Receptive Consciousness Institute is that we're seeing the results from a mediumistic point of view as an explorer of consciousness. That's what I am. I'm an explorer, like Scott. But hopefully not going to go out in the cold from a tent and say, I may be gone a while, or whoever said that. And anyway, so then the task for me is to become almost like tunnel vision. And so all I can tune into is the person in front of me. They are the only person. And so then we say that we start to become focused. Maybe if that tuning in becomes incredibly precise, we become hyper-focused. And you've noticed how people either being able to tune in or not tune into the circumstances of life and emotions. Have you seen how that affects people? And if so, how?
Yeah, so I think, well, you and I both know well that if you become aware of many different things going on at the same time, whether that's thoughts of the past or the present or emotional experiences that are happening now or have happened before, and that is all interfering with peace of mind. It's interfering with our ability to focus, our ability to just stay present with what is in this moment, because it is a constant bombardment of information that we're allowing to come into our mind and actually felt experience as well.
Yeah. I want to share an experience that I think expectation plays a role in this as well, doesn't it? So let me just share an experience. So this is, again, we've gone from the psychology to a mediumistic interpretation. So expectation plays a massive role. So I was running a circle, and a circle is an opportunity for like-minded mediums to get together to practice. Now, I was the person facilitating it, and therefore I was giving people exercises to do to practice the skill of mediumship. So there's a group of people, let's say there was a dozen people, and all of them had experience except one person. Okay, this lady turned up for the first time that particular evening. And of course, we wanted to have that opportunity to practice. So I said to the lady, I want you to work with, this person here. And she said, well, I've never practiced this. So she never had any expectation. I said, it's okay. I said, I just wanted to talk about what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what you're guessing, all right, in speech marks I'm doing there. And so in a way, I was saying, let's pretend that we're making it up. No expectation. So anyway, the first lady with the experience, she went, and yeah, she was getting bits and pieces, but it was hit and miss. The second lady, it was like she was mind reading. She said, oh, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. And I said, and if you were to guess the answer to this question, what would you say? I would say this. Anyway, the other lady was sitting there open mouthed. And she was just kind of like, what's happening here? And she said, oh, I'm just, that's just what I felt. I don't know. I've never practiced this before. So she had no expectation. Anyway, she did amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, you did say that you've never done this before. Oh, yes. Yeah. And I'm thinking, blimey. Next week you might as well take my place. I mean, you could do the teaching, because she was just like amazing. What I then noticed is the more people have been practicing, weirdly, to some extent, the less accurate their information got in comparison to that lady. Why is that? Well, they set expectations. They had assumptions. They had started to cloud and to filter the information coming through. So rather than just say, oh, I can see a snowman with a red bobble hat. Instead, they would think to themselves, oh, I can see a snowman with a red bobble hat. Oh, that must just be me making it up. And they wouldn't speak about it. Mm-hmm. And yet the woman who's just saying, oh, this is really weird, but I saw a snowman with a red bobble hat. And then the other person is open mouthed because it was a direct reference to a memory that, she'd had from a loved one in the spirit world. Mm. And so as I reflected upon it, I thought we naturally have this propensity to filter once we start to learn a technique and we start to apply last week's experience with this week's and last month's experience with this month's. And so what we do is we start to fit everything into a neat a neat way of understanding it that doesn't make room for allowing for change.
Mm.
And so the lady with no experience had no expectations, and she just flew.
Yeah, just a process of flow.
Absolutely. So she was in that flow state. And this is what happens is, I think all of us potentially can be in that flow state.
So how are we, sorry, Andy, how are we potentially helping people if we show them how to be in states of reducing interference? How's it going to enhance their lives?
Well, let's not look at it from a mediumistic point of view, because look, not everyone wants this, all right?
No.
Mediumship, to be clear, mediumship is how I perceived I became aware of the theory that I ended up writing the paper on. So that was the starting point, mediumship itself.
Yes.
What we're looking at is, as I thought about it more and more, and I thought, why can't I do this all the time to the same standard?
Yeah.
I started to realize that there is, for want of a better description, interference. So what we can do is we can say to someone, let us teach you these techniques to understand and to cope with the interference and to start tuning into the signal that is really there. Let us give you tools to tune into the reason the emotion is overwhelming you. Let us give you tools to deal with stress. Let us give you tools to take your emotional state into a more peaceful, a more Zen-like state, because everything that happens to us in life has different effects on people because they react differently to the same circumstances. So if, let's say, for example, there was a disaster of some sort, some people would react calmly, they would react with clarity and precision, and they would go about things in a very methodical way. Some would lose their head. Some would become followers of the people that were able to get into the calm and clear thinking frame of mind. So from a psychologist's point of view, you understand why we react in certain ways in emotional or stressful situations.
Yeah.
So what we're saying to the people listening or watching, we have tools, techniques that can help you come home from work and not be overwhelmed by the stress of it. Or if you're mediumistic, to enter into this collaboration with the spirit world to make the connection that you thought you couldn't make. Or for many other reasons, to get into that flow state, to be more creative, to allow greater healing to happen. Yeah. From my perspective, but how do you see it from a psychology perspective?
Yeah, I think when we're in that flow state, also we are able to perceive opportunity,
Right.
perhaps have clarity on how to deal with difficult situations, be able to be clear on what is right for us and, the right relationships, the right decisions. I think we're more likely to have a healthier physical body, because if the mind is at ease and the nervous system is calm, then we're less likely to have, a lowered immune system or, other inflammatory conditions, because the body's not feeling the need to, go into a heightened state. So I think just cultivating that flow state enhances our quality of life in so many ways. It gives us that opportunity to live our best life.
I just thought something, you've just kind of highlighted something. And we know that how the body reacts to severe stress.
Yeah.
That you are a much higher risk of heart disease and strokes if you are under a lot of stress, aren't you? I mean, that is a medical fact. And so if your mental state and your mental clarity and peace or sense of ease, if that is increased, and therefore we're decreasing the amount of stress and the amount of, is it cortisol?
Yes.
The
And
amount of adrenaline. So if you are getting out of this heightened fight or flight state and you are getting into a more peaceful, calm, like nothing can really bother me state, surely the health benefits of that alone are worth exploring, that this is a way that we can actually give ourselves a better quality of life. Even if you don't want to be mediumistic or you don't want to be a high flyer.
Oh, absolutely.
You just want to heal yourself to some degree. I mean, that's got to be a win, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's, it's along the same lines of Buddhist, practices, mindfulness, compassion. It's that ability to not allow, things to come into our awareness that are going to overwhelm or undermine or impact us. It's that ability to start to cultivate a state of constant ease and flow.
Yeah, I mean, because if we think about, just briefly going back to the whole practice in mediumship, if it was the case that the more I practice, the better I get, then there would be this upward trajectory all of the time. So the more I practice, the clearer it is, the better I get, so on and so forth. And yet that's not the case. I know people that are incredibly experienced that just say, I had an absolute horror show. And I said, why? And they go, I don't know, just couldn't get anything for anyone. And then I think, crikey, if you have had that experience after 30 or 40 years of practice, then it kind of makes me panic. And I think, what am I going to do? And so it could be that that person for that evening wasn't in that state of mind where the receptivity, the signal was really clear. It was a bit scrambled because maybe, they'd had to run through the door at the last minute and, just life had got in the way.
So really, to meet our full potential in whether it is an energetic, psychic, physiological, emotional, psychological way, to meet our full potential, really, we need to learn how to be in a state of ease and flow, because we're going to make better decisions. We're going to see more opportunities. The physical body's going to be healthier. We're going to have better perception.
But also we need to understand that it's happening in the first place. So it's no good going, oh, that was terrible. Nothing happened. So it's have that awareness to think to yourself, actually, what's happening here? And you think, okay, I feel really quite stressed. Let me have 5 minutes. Let me have that time to almost take the top off the pressure cooker, allow the pressure to leave. And then just say to yourself, right, as I start to become aware of that sense of peace growing stronger, and I start to feel that calmness, the images, the clarity, the intuition seems to be more clear. It seems to be bringing information that is understood.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's wonderful. And the more that we consider the states of mind and how something very, very normal and seemingly innocuous is actually responsible for a great deal of how we experience life. And that is emotion. Are we able to tune in and tune out and to get into the right emotional state for the work that we want to do?
Yeah.
So when you want to be creative, maybe it is that you've got your favorite music on, you're in a relaxed state of mind and just the ideas are flowing. But when you need to be very focused, that you can take your mind to that place that allows you to access that connection and the focus that you're looking for. Last words before we bring it to a close?
I think if anybody is particularly interested in that idea of reducing interference, I think the first place to start is looking at, the simplest thing of just following the breath for a bit. Not trying to change the breath, but just following the breath, just for 5 minutes, because then you're concentrating on one thing.
I think you are. Liz, I've loved speaking about this as ever. And so in the next episode, we're going to be covering another aspect of our theory and our ideas. And in the not too distant future, we are going to be launching a course for people to join, and you're kind of going to be the first cohort. I like that word. I got that from you, cohort.
Yeah.
You're going to be the first cohort of students to work with this receptive consciousness framework, because we have ideas and understanding and insight that we really believe strongly that are going to make a real difference to you. And if you'd like to be part of that, then we would love to hear from you. So send us a message and let us know that you want to be part of it. So let us say goodbye to the folks for now, but to know that we will be back soon. And thank you so much for watching or listening.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.